and let us all do we can to build a better future.
All right, just when I thought it was over, a new video caught my attention of Cenk responding to a viewer about his presidential run. Now, maybe he really thinks he could pull this off, but let's be very clear here. You have to be a natural born citizen to run for president. And I understand, maybe from Cenk's perspective, that he feels that that's not right. Well, that's just the law of the land. And just because, let's say, Israel has its own different policy, because the current prime minister of Israel, he's from Philly, city of brotherly love. But that's another country. Here in America, the law is the first thing, the one thing that comes before anything else, before age, or even if you were a resident here for 14 years or anything like that, you have to be a natural born citizen. And both sides, both Democrats and Republicans, who are part of the establishment system, the media, will bombard Cenk with this unending truth. And if you're talking about bringing it up to the Supreme Court, let's be very clear here. For those of you who have been in the audience, I think we all know that legal proceedings take time. T-I-M-E, time, which is the most fundamental thing. Time supersedes everything else. So if he's trying to bring this up to Supreme Court, you got to start doing this now. And that costs money. That costs time. And no one's going to be following your campaign if that's the one thing you're doing. I've said this before. If you're thinking about running for office, you need to do it before said election year so you can actually build up your resources and your infrastructure, especially if you are going to be either an outsider running in one of the two main parties, which is a waste of time. You can't reform the Democrats or Republicans, or if you're running as an independent or third party. So Cenk decides to respond to viewers' questions. So if we want to laugh, hell yes, we deserve a laugh because the world is ending. And God damn it, we got to smile or all is truly lost. So let's pull up this video here. And honestly, I don't know what Anna is thinking right now, but she's probably thinking, oh my goodness, I got to sit through this crap.
Guys, this is really important for you to understand. I'm on here as a guest, and I'm on many other shows as a guest. That when I do that, I'm running for my campaign, okay? But when I'm on as a host, that's my daytime job. So some people are mechanics, some people are, for most of the people running, they're usually some sort of lobbyist, consultant, disguised as a politician, etc. Right? So for me, I have to earn a living. So I'm going to stay on the show, but I am not allowed to talk about things that are directly related to the Democratic primary. I can comment about all the other news, and I can even comment about Biden and Harris. And by the way, if you notice in the last week.
So you basically shot yourself in the foot because this is your livelihood, your show, which is so stupid. You shouldn't be making that public. You shouldn't be doing this, period. You're the host of TYT and you're taking this crazy, and it's so dumb right there. So in other words, the main reason why people tune in, you're not going to be talking about it at all. Why are you wasting your time, Cenk? There's still time for you to bow out. Again, on the one side, I want to laugh at him. The other side, I just want to pull him aside and be like, dude, I think you need to drink some water and take a break.
I've given Biden a ton of credit for some of the things that he's done, the student debt relief, the job numbers are great. I think I make a better case for Biden than he does, right? And that's part of the why he's such a bad candidate, even though he has had some accomplishments. But so we religiously are going to keep that separate, okay?
All right, so I wanted to allow the audience to weigh in a little bit. I don't want to be all negative, so I'll read the positive comments as well, starting with 420 JR Man, who says, vote for Cenk Uygur. Our POTUS 24. Progressive Bandito says Cenk 2024. Fortnite Pro, AKA Be Kind Dragon, says, I'm voting for you because we must win. Lisa Schuster, he needs to tell us how he pronounces his last name.
Yeah, that's super fair. It's for those of you who are new to it, and for a lot of people that are older to it. Okay, my name is difficult. Cenk, this is pronounced like a J, Cenk, and then Uygur. Cenk Uygur, okay? And it's cenkforamerica.com. Yes, it's CENK foramerica.com, but don't worry, we got almost all the spellings. So you can spell it any way you like and you'll probably get to us anyway.
The amount of ego that this man has. I don't know how Jimmy put up with it, but the fact that he's actually following through with the madness of running as a challenger to Biden in the Democratic primary. I've said this before. I know Due Dissidents did a breakdown on it too, and so has RBN and Sabby. But seriously, Cenk, you don't stand a chance, even if you didn't have the issue of not being a natural born citizen in the United States. The game is rigged from the start. You're in denial.
Much as the Fury is concerned that you running in a Democratic primary is going to help Trump win, what is your response to that?
So two things, guys. I'm going to be the main Democrat.
So in other words, now finally, Cenk is going to be bombarded with, oh, you're going to help Trump. You're going to help Trump, Cenk. Reasons for Cenk Uygur's career is ending because he got he got bombarded with so many hates from liberals. Oh, this man, Fat Tony, he ruined Biden's chance. Cenk, you're going to have to do something that RFK, Marianne, Bernie, AOC would never do, and that is actually attack Biden. And you are going to fail miserably. After what the Democrats did to you for your congressional run, how you had to tell Bernie Sanders to withdraw his endorsement of you. What are you doing? Why? Plus, because you took this crazy risk, you're going to also hurt your own business. He doesn't even think about the people around him.
In the race actually running against Trump. So, nothing against Marianne Williamson, but her voice just can't get out, right? And it's not her fault, but it hasn't, right? So, but Biden refuses to run against Trump. He refuses to run against McCarthy and Scalise and all these guys. When's the last time you heard Biden take on Kevin McCarthy? Maybe never, right? Isn't that amazing that the leader of the Democratic Party will not fight the Republicans? I'm gonna get in the race, whichever show I go on, not just this show, but the other shows that'll have me on. I'm gonna explain. Donald Trump is a little tiny baby. He bankrupted 6 different companies. His daddy gave him money. Here, I have a nickname for Donald Trump already. See, already, like no other Democrat would do that. Oh, that's not classy. We just sit here and lose in a super classy way. Well, I'm not classy, okay? So his name from now on is Spoiled Donnie.
He did it again. He did it again. He keeps on doing it again. He keeps on embarrassing himself. This is a perfect image right here to capture Cenk. Cenk, no one's asking for nicknames for a presidential candidate or either that making fun. People want to know how you're going to make their lives better. But number one, Cenk, you don't even qualify. You don't qualify to run. And he's apparently going to be on other people's shows. Who's going to let you? Who's going to take you serious? Who in their right mind would want to take your campaign serious? Who would? Just again, looking at how all this is playing out, I can't help but play this. I can't help but just bring this up over and over and over again. Oof, 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 oof. Let's go ahead and pull up this video once again of Cenk in his own delusions.
So Spoiled Donnie got $413 million from his dad, and then he sucked his thumb until he lost it all. Total, utter loser. The weakest man in America, the most insecure, most thin-skinned man in America, and he sucks at everything he does. Everyone here, 40 out of 44 cabinet officials that served under his term will not endorse him. Because if you're in a room with Donald Trump, you realize what a lunatic, what a madman. And now he's going around saying that he's going to destroy our government. He thinks he's going to suspend our Constitution. For God's sake, Democrats, run against Donald Trump. So that's what I'm going to do. And so, but guys, I promise you that if it looks like, oh my God, No, the Democrats coalesce again, and they're like, no, we want to lose with Biden. We'd rather lose with Biden than have a real candidate. And besides which, Trump's going to do a giant tax cuts for corporations again, right? So if they coalesce around him, and it looks like, look, I pounded this guy for 3 months, and
that didn't sound good, Cenk. That didn't sound right.
Oof. 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 Oof.
I had to at that point here, just out of humor.
A giant tax cuts for corporations again, right? So if they coalesce around him, and it looks like, look, I pounded this guy for 3 months, and he's not going away, and I don't want to do damage. No, not mission number one is beat Trump, beat Trump, beat Trump, beat Trump.
So that should already tell you that when push comes to shove, Cenk will bend over and take it up the wazoo. Because every Democrat is thinking defeating Trump. Now, the way Cenk was talking about was beating Trump. Now that didn't sound all cash money, but okay, Cenk. So you're not serious. Even if you did have the requirements necessary to run, you're still going to chicken out and fall for the vote blue, no matter who propaganda. And that is, oh, we got to stop Trump.
We're going to do that together. If it's not working and it's not going in that direction, we're not going to do that. Okay, we're going to fight super hard against Trump.
Now, I doubt you've even thought about this. So let's get ahead of ourselves a little bit. Reaper Dragon wants to know, if you were to win the nomination, would you consider?
If you were to win the nomination, the DNC is a private institution, Cenk. Haven't you forgotten that TYT did a documentary series in California, or on the California primary, in which election fraud took place? It's on one of your other networks that you still have. And by the way, huge shout out to my audience members, the initiated, that were able to download and copy and save that video, just in case Cenk or TYT ever choose to delete that channel. It is still up there. It is still up there for everyone to see. The DNC is a private institution. They will deny you. They will deny you the nomination. Even if you were to win, they would still find a way to take it away from you.
Or Marianne as a running mate, and if not, who would you consider? Cenk 2024.
Yeah. So no, I don't. I haven't picked a vice presidential candidate, but bless your heart for asking. Okay. So Marianne's wonderful, but guys, let's whisper of a dream. There are an amazing number of progressives in this country. Okay, sure, vice president, but think of Secretary of Labor, think of Secretary of the Treasury, think of this.
Who's going to follow you, Cenk? A lot of Democrats don't even show up on your show anymore. The squad doesn't show up on your show anymore. Bernie Sanders doesn't show up on your show anymore. AOC and most of the progressives have already coalesced around senile old man Biden. Even RFK Jr. had the wisdom to eventually see, hey, I got to get out of this because this primary is not going to favor me or my supporters. Is this just a way to make your book more relevant? Or are you really having a mental breakdown?
Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, being progressives. I know I'm driving away establishment people. They're like, oh my God, they would do good in this country. They were trying to help real people. Don't do that. That's what.
By the way, shout out to the live stream audience. First of all, Cactus Man 07 says Anna doesn't feel it. Bad cookies. TYT turned into a full-on masturbation channel. It's just Cenk and Anna. Cenk and Anna on Cenk. Miss Witchy Perfect. He got less than 5% in his own district. Yeah, it was like around 3.3%. That was pathetic. Horrifyingly pathetic for Cenk in his own congressional run. And Natalie Williams, buy my book, which is what Marianne Williamson's campaign is. It's nothing more than a glorified book tour.
But my guess is what the mainstream media will say, but I will give you the most spectacular cabinet you have ever seen. CenkForAmerica.com.
Solo6, who resubscribed for 28 months. Thank you for that. Thank God someone is running for president that actually cares about the American people and not the American
Jeez, Anna, you are really phoning it in. Come on, have a little bit more passion there, will you?
corporations. So you are getting a lot of support from our audience, but Galfar71 says, why would someone vote for you when you were already saying you aren't in it to win it?
No, I'm in it to win it, brother. So thank
Hey, watch him backpedal like a true Democrat.
you for the question. So listen, there's layers to this, right? Layer number one is Biden's gonna lose. We need as many people in this race as possible. So now if I was a normal politician, I would say, no, I don't want other people in the race. It's about me. That's how almost all politicians think, right? No, I'm telling you guys, I'm a proxy. Let's go, let's get everybody in here. Now, does that mean I'm gonna leave when they get out? No, when they get in, I'm gonna kick their ass. And if I don't, and you pick one of them, great, no problem. I believe in democracy. I believe in primaries. But I also believe that I make a way better case for the Democratic Party than any of those guys do. Do any of those guys fight for you like I fight for you? Are they gonna support the most popular policies and then tell you how they're gonna do it? I mean, we got paid family leave at 84%. So if you can't do that, you're saying I'm an incompetent party or I don't want to do that. So,
and yet you associate with this party and you had the audacity of thinking that you could reform it, that you can rebuild it. You can't rebuild, reform the Democratic Party. It doesn't want to be fixed. It never was what it was. You tried it with the Justice Democrats and failed miserably. And now you tried it with your congressional run. You failed miserably. You're trying it now with your own presidential run. People are laughing at you. But mind you, again, I want to say thank you, Cenk, for at least lightening up the mood this entire week, because this entire week has been nothing but covered with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And throughout all this terror and despair, a bright light comes up from the skies and says, hey, everybody, I know things suck down there, but laugh at this jagoff. So, Cenk, thank you for putting a smile on our faces, because everything that you've been saying so far has been on par with somebody on the street saying that they are the voice of God. You cannot run a successful campaign. You want to point and laugh at Donald Trump for going bankrupt 6 times? Okay, fine. He went bankrupt 6 times. He's still a billionaire or a millionaire. He still has money. And the reason why he was able to survive it so long, the reason why he was able to survive bankruptcy, was because of our also fantastic Democratic and Republican lawmakers who helped create rules and loopholes to allow people like Donald Trump to survive. So in other words, Cenk, you're laughing at Donald Trump, but he's still on top and he's leading the Republican primary. It's easy for Cenk to try and maybe project on how tough he can be against Donald Trump, but he is running in a Democratic primary. And by running in a Democratic primary, you have to follow the rules and regulations of said primary. There will be no debates happening. We've talked about this on RBN and on Due Dissidence and here on Hard Lens Media. Everyone's talked about it. There will not be any goddamn debates. There's not going to be any kind of conversation happening about any kind of, real discourse amongst the Democratic establishment of trying to pick somebody else, because no one is willing to go up against Biden, even though a lot of people in high positions of power within the DNC are all saying amongst themselves that maybe we need to pick somebody else besides Biden before it's too late. But it is too late. And even before Biden made his announcement, RFK Jr. and Marianne Williamson were already running in the Democratic primary, and they were vilified and constantly cast aside. RFK Jr. had to leave because the DNC made it abundantly clear that they're going to do everything they can to roadblock him and his supporters. We cannot forget what happened in 2016 and in 2020. Cenk, your network, TYT, your network covered that. You talked about election fraud that took place during the 20. Well, actually, to be more fair, it was Jordan Sheridan who did that. But your network covered that. You're not acknowledging how people had to wait 8 hours, 10 hours, a whole goddamn day just to vote for Bernie in 2016. And they did the same thing again in 2020. Do you not see what you're doing to yourself? So I'm mixed on this. And so I want to ask engagement from the audience. Type 1 if, hey, I'm grab the popcorn and watch this man have a meltdown. I don't care. Type 2, I have a little bit of sympathy here. Someone really needs to pull him aside and tell him to stop this. I'm very curious to see what the audience's reaction will be.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. First thing I'm going to do is not pass the laws. I'm going to do the thing that's going to help pass the laws. I'm going to call Chuck Schumer and say, you better fire that parliamentarian. If he or she is not fired by the end of the day, you're going to have giant trouble. Again, people on TV will go, oh, you can't do that. That is not polite. No, there ain't going to be no filibuster. Well, I'm either going to break those senators or they're going to break me, but we're going to end that filibuster. I mean, if a guy like me wins, that means we got a Democratic House, we got a Democratic Senate, and we're gonna pass these damn laws. We're gonna pass them, and there ain't nothing in the world that can stop me. So look, guys, the one thing that if you watch Young Turks, but even if you don't, is that I'm relentless. And okay, I get knocked down all the time. It's not that I have an endless string of victories, but have I done things when people thought it wasn't possible? So when I started this, we started in my living room. And if I told people then we're gonna get 5 billion views a year, they would have laughed their ass off. They would have said, that's impossible. If I said to them, we're gonna be the #1 online news show, they would have said that's impossible. If I said to them, I'm going to win an award for the best host on the entire internet, they would have said, this guy's lost his mind. If I said to them, I'm not gonna work for Dan Rather, Dan Rather's gonna work for me. So you gotta lock this guy up. How many impossible things do I have to do before maybe people begin to think, maybe it's not impossible? And you know what my magic trick is? You guys. So I'll give you one last example, but I'll give you.
Everything he's saying is somewhat true, but let's look at the bigger picture. In the early 2000s, when TYC was still in its infancy, they were the only game in town. This is true. TYT was able to build up its network. It was the home of progressives. It was once a very respectable place that a lot of independents and progressives went to. But after 2016 and the shilling for the Democratic Party, people left. People decided to branch out and do their own thing. And since then, we have seen Cenk not only run his network to the ground, we saw him fail at so many events when it comes down to politics. Wolfpack, stuck in the mud. Justice Democrats, well, they kicked him out, him and Kyle Kulinski. Cenk's congressional run, not once but twice, failed miserably. So many other shows on the TYT network disappeared, evaporated into the air. Oh, and that infamous 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, when they did that investigative journalism where they raised money off of their audience, $2 million. Whatever happened to that $2 million, Cenk? Whatever happened to the 4 Horsemen? Oh, that's right. You let them all go. Sean King, Jordan Sheridan, Mickey Kantz, all those people. You let them go. Constantly hoping that one day you get some of the Democrats to show back up on your show, and they don't show up. They don't show up on your show anymore, Cenk. So yes, on the one hand, you are correct in some of the things that you have boasted there. But on the other hand, you have failed as well. And his presidential run is a sign of somebody who is trying to make themselves relevant in a world that is drastically moving faster ahead of him. And he's afraid of that. All I can say about Cenk Uger's presidential run is this.
Oof. 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 Oof.
Oof. The jokes keep on coming, but at least we're all smiling. As the world is ending, we can smile at Cenk Uger making an ass out of himself.